Guys, it's TheFrXion here with Tiger Tank 1-2, however you're gonna call me, I don't really care. And today, once again, we're gonna do a live commentary gameplay with, this time, being the tank that we're gonna be featuring, the WZ-121FT. This is the newest Chinese premium tank, a tier 8 tank destroyer, and a very, very overpowered one at that. This tank destroyer steps into the same line as the SU-122-44. I'm not sure if you guys remember that vehicle back in the days when it was going up against tier 6 and 7 and 5 tanks. It really wreaked havoc. And today I want to talk about premium vehicles in general, and especially one tier that I think is the most played tier in World Tanks and the most controversial tier at that. And you guys probably already know it. I'm talking about tier 8 and premium tanks at tier 8. Now if we take a look into the rosters right here, how many tanks are premium vehicles in this one game? We have the 112, that's 1. We have the Lorraine 40T, that's 2. M46 Korea, that's 3. The Primo Victoria, that's 4. T34/3, that's 5. T44-100, that's 6. T26E4, that's 7. Jack Tiger 88, S-Tier S1, and WZ-120, that's 11 premium vehicles out of 15. 4 tanks at this tier are tier 8 vehicles. And how many of those are overpowered? Well, okay, right here, not too many. I think the Lorraine 40T in the hands of a capable player, very, very strong. STRV S1, very, very strong vehicle. And this vehicle that I'm driving right here. Let's see if we can show the full potential. There we go. We penetrated him. And let's see if we can... we're not going to bounce the SU-120, ISU-152 shell. But the frontal armor of this tank is fairly thick. It bounces shells at tier 8 even from the standard tanks, except maybe not tank destroyers, but it bounces a lot of stuff frontally. And it is very mobile as well, so this is a tank that can really pull its weight in close quarter engagements. And yeah, okay, the accuracy isn't that great. That was a nice lucky shot right there. Let's see if we can put one into the ISU-152. Oh, he's not running the 152mm gun. You can see we just bounced 2 shots. Actually, they just double-tracked us because they have a bit of a problem penetrating us, and this doesn't usually happen. Our average pen on this vehicle is 248. That is at tier 8. Very, very good. For a tank destroyer, maybe not that great. But still. 1,226 damage dealt. And we took 235 damage. Oh, okay, obviously I think it's a good trade up until here. Who might be a problem though on the enemy team is the Lorraine 40 team. Especially if that guy knows what he's doing. He's a good player. I don't want to go after stats, but you have to be careful with these players. Obviously, when they know what they're doing in tanks that are very, very strong, you might get just obliterated if you don't pay attention. So, T26E4 is pushing, and we just lost our 112 over there, so we're not going to push after this guy, because if we flank him, we're gonna get shot in the ass by the shit ton of tanks over there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just sit around this corner, and we're gonna bounce an IS-3. Oh, what the hell? Where did this Scorpion come from? Who let a Scorpion through, and where did he come from? What? Am I blind? I didn't see the minimap. But yeah, obviously it looks like this is going to be not really a close match. We did low roll on a few occasions, but it doesn't really matter. Rate of fire in this thing is brutal to say. At least I think it's 8 seconds something. He bounces heat off our upper plate. It's just so unfair. I think currently tier 8 is the Lorraine. Yeah, that's exactly the one thing, the one tank that I've forgotten about, and it's the one tank that kills me, the Lorraine 40T. So looking back onto this game, a hell of a lot of premium tanks on their on their team as well. I mean, if we just counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 premium tanks. We had 11. All in all, 20 premium tanks. Only 10 tanks were non-premium in this matchup. This is not what happens most of the time. But still, a huge number of tier 8 vehicles are premium tanks because Wargaming have produced so many premium tanks up until this point. There are so many premium tanks out there in World of Tanks that, yeah, I think everyone is losing kind of the general overview. We don't know where are premium tanks, where non-premium tanks anymore at tier 8, and the whole matchup has been kind of completely screwed over because not just that, the other problem is that there are tier 8 premium tanks with preferential matchmaking. I do have a few of those tanks. For example, this vehicle right here, the KB5, preferential matchmaking is never going to meet tier 10 tanks. Then there is the the 112. This tank is never going to meet tier 10 tanks as well. And I mean, what is going to happen? There are so many weird vehicles in this game at tier 8 that they break the entire tier 8 matchmaking system. Then when you have, like, for example, you're running a tier 8 in standard, like, let's go non-premium. Normal vehicles. Okay, I only have 5 normal tier 8s, right? The IS-3, which is very, very strong at its tier. A vehicle that actually is not... I think a vehicle that actually is... It's strong, it's good. Against tier 6s, it will really obliterate them. It will just punish them. But it can be punished as well. It is overpowered in that kind of sense, but when you go up against tier 10s, this tank is not as overpowered as it used to be. At least you can still fight back at tier 10 with this gun, because this gun is a tier 9 gun. It allows you to do 200, you have 225 millimeters of pen. At least you can still, engage these guys at tier 10, and even with APCR you can do something about it. But for example, if you're running around in T44, obviously this is a tier 8 medium tank. Medium tanks are supposed to do different things. They're not supposed to be on the front line. But this guy right here, why does it have a tier 7 gun? Because the average penetration on this tier 7... Ah, yeah, obviously. This is a tier 8 vehicle that is a tier 7 gun, but they buffed it. They buffed the tier 7 gun, so it has 190 millimeters of pen now. But imagine if you're going up against tier 10 tanks with this vehicle and you're facing other medium tanks, you're going to have a bad time. Against tier 6 again, this is going to be a great vehicle, but you're still lacking the penetration, even with the premium rounds against those tier 10, tier 9 medium tanks, especially if you consider the object 430U now at the moment. So matchmaker at tier 8 always has been an issue. For example, my new tier 8 vehicle that I've unlocked, the VK101P, I have a 105mm gun, the same one that you can mount on the Tiger 2. And what's happening here is I want to unlock the 12.8cm gun because it is more competitive. I can do more damage with it. I feel just overall, I think I feel a lot safer with the 128mm gun going up against tier 9 and tier 10 tanks. Now this vehicle is supposed to be a super heavy tank, right? It is a super heavy tank. Now let's join into a game and let's see if Matchmaker is going to throw us all over the place like it did previously. Now tier 8 is... It's not just tier 8, but tier 8 is, I think, the bane of the existence, the main problem right now, because tier 8 is that tier that most people play. Everyone plays tier 8 because either they own a tier 8 premium tank or they have reached the tier 8 vehicle that they're grinding right now. Now we're facing tier 10 tanks. The armor of this vehicle, very, very powerful. Against tier 6 and tier 7 vehicles, it is ridiculously stupid. No one is going to pen this tank frontally. So they have to go around it, shoot the sides. But at tier 10, tier 9, and tier 8, they can pen the lower plate. Obviously, it is the one weak spot. It needs to have a weak spot, and they can pen this turret, this cupola on top. It's very easy to penetrate. Now, it is really awkward because right now in this situation, even the Oho, which has sublime good armor, like is meant to be really, really strong against tier 8s, it's going to go down in this matchup because you have an object 268, 290 millimeters of pen, you have a Yak Tiger, you have a T-54 E1, you have a Moistion, you all have these high tier tanks. And obviously in World of Tanks right now, the problem on the North American server at least is there are not enough people playing this game. That is the reason why they cannot field only tier 8 matchmaker, only tier 8 games, tier 10 games, because people are not playing, not enough people are playing. So when you try to enter the queue so that the people don't have to wait for an eternity like in Armored Warfare, because there are absolutely no people playing this game, they obviously have to work around that thing, by mixing the tiers. This is what they have been doing for a very long time. Back in the days, just imagine, I think it has gotten better, but still it's not perfect. They still need to overwork it. Back in the days, you could meet a mouse in a KV1 or a KV2. There used to be two KVs. The one KV, the KV1 had a 107mm gun, and the KV2, that thing used to have the derp gun. Actually, it was just one KV. Then they mixed it up to two KVs, which it is right now. And the one KV had a 107mm gun, which was really competitive. But that's not the point. You could meet a mouse in a KV. Just imagine that. Like, what the hell are you supposed to do in a KV against a mouse? A mouse against a KV, a tank that only has a derp gun or this 107mm gun. Obviously, it didn't go very well for the KV. But these are the old days. We have new matchmaking now. At least, okay, not new. The two-tier system has been introduced for a while now. But is it still up to date with all these new vehicles that they have added, all the new tier 10s that they have added, all the new tier 8 premium vehicles that they have added? Just so you know, what I'm doing right now is we have a rather big number of tanks over here in the town, and we have a flank that is completely collapsing. I think I'd rather go over here, help out the defending one vehicle right here to assist in defending the base, than push with these guys. Still, I think this is going to be a defeat. I think pretty much it's going to be a defeat. So there is a E75 who cannot pen him with standard rounds, and he actually bounces off of us, and that is something that does happen quite often on this vehicle. It is a super heavy tank, and this is another issue that I have with super heavy tanks. I think they didn't really walk this through, especially with matchmaking and combining all the factors, because these super heavy tanks are really it's like how wargaming have completely neglected or just opted to make a lot of tanks into those one situational beasts. Like, when they're in that one situation, they're going to be super great, but when they are like fighting, I don't know, several vehicles, and they're not in their great position, they're gonna have a huge problem fighting their battles, because obviously they're not going to be able to take on several tanks, because that's not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be great in one spot, and right here you can see I've loaded ABCR because I need to penetrate this guy, and now it's over anyway, and I'm dead. I'm not sure if my team can... no, I think we're gonna lose this. But they tried at least. We tried. And there goes this guy. Yeah, so it's awkward. Tier 8 matchmaking at this point right now is awkward. Every tier matchmaking is awkward right now. If you're just imagine the jumps that you have in some vehicles are that crazy. Did that guy just go off of cap? Oh, unlucky. Holy shit, that guy must be so annoyed because that Jag Tiger could have won us the game, but that artillery just put one right up his engine deck and he burned. He burned good. Yeah, that's World of Tanks for you. So where was I? A previous standpoint, tier 8 matchmaking is brutal because either way you have a shit ton of premium tanks, then you have a shit ton of standard tanks that either are like good or not very good. If we go into the tech tree, I can show you guys some examples of vehicles that are at tier 8, I think completely underpowered, that have absolutely nothing to look for in tier 8. So, Waffenträger auf RHM Borsig. I think this one is self-explanatory. It's a tank destroyer. It's not going to have any issues. Same goes for a Jagdpanther. Both of these tanks at least have mobility. Armor, not existent, at least a little bit. It's a bit trollish actually on this vehicle. But still, at least what they can do is they can run away. The Ferdinand, on the other hand, it has armor, but it's not the armor that it used to be. At least against tier 6, tier 7 tanks, it's not going to have a problem, but as soon as someone taps a 2 key, what they're going to do, anyway, is this vehicle is not going to stand up any longer. It's not a viable option, I think, in my opinion. I'd much rather have the Jagdpanther too. But, I mean, the Ferdinand is a historical accurate vehicle, like the Elephant, and they're really cool, but what do you want to say? I think that they are not balanced. In some games they can be good enough, but yeah, Tiger 2 obviously over like this vehicle. It's historically accurate, at least. Okay, the gun is not historically accurate, I think. But still, this tank is so underpowered. I think it's so unfair. This vehicle is such a cool tank. Not very good anymore. VK, I never liked it. I played a few games in it. I think it's a horrible tank. Then maybe if we move on, at least the Soviets have, I think, the best tier 8 heavy tanks. The KV-4, at least, I mean, it has a shit ton of armor. The IS-3 is good. The ISM, on the other hand, it has a shit ton of armor as well, but I'm not sure. I'm not that big of a fan of that vehicle. Moving on, the Conovan, it has been buffed recently, 1815. Both of these tanks are really annoying to shoot at, especially this one. Okay, I'd say they're decent. Good pen, low alpha. Tier A, AMX 5100. That's a good vehicle. AMX 65T, that's a shit vehicle. I hate that. Absolute garbage. TVP VTU, you absolutely don't see these tanks running around the battlefield. I don't think anyone likes it, so most of the time people just skip it, go to T50. STA1, well, it's okay, they buffed it, they buffed the premium version as well. OHO is kind of annoying. But other than that, I mean, the 110, the IS-3 does everything better than the 110 in my opinion. Emil 1, okay, that's a really annoying tank. And the T32, I have the 3 mark on this vehicle, but at the same time it's not what it used to be. Everyone is going through it now. I really like this tank. I think I still have it, or did I sell it? Oh, I sold it. Don't have it anymore. Yeah, 3 marked it and then sold it. So yeah, what should we say about tier 8 matchmaking? It's a mess. I think matchmaking in general is a mess. I know that they're focusing on different things right now. They are making the maps look beautiful. I can give you guys some views of some certain maps that I can show you guys. But other than that, I'd say Well, matchmaking is a mess. They absolutely need to sort that out. They need to sort out the premium dilemma that we have right now. Tier 8 premium is just like it's not funny anymore. We can jump into, actually I think this video has already gone on long enough. Um, what I just want to say is tier 8 premium matchmaking has been a mess right now, especially with tanks like the Chrysler K, GF, the Mauerbrecher. Actually, this tank is not that great. The Defender, like the STG Guard, a tank that has a rear placed turret, but at the same time can turn 360 degrees, while its counterparts can only turn it 180 degrees. Well, go figure. And then obviously the Object 252U or Defender. I don't think I have to say anything about these tanks. You all faced them in battle, and I think you all wanted to knock out the guy who was driving it. And what do all of these tanks have in common in my garage? Well, I own them, right? So that makes me a bad person as well. Do I regret buying them? I don't regret buying them. They're really a lot of fun to play, but they're not balanced at all. This tank is not balanced. This vehicle does not scream, I am balanced. This vehicle screams, I am absolutely overpowered. I have the armor of an IS-7 at tier 8. A little bit nerfed, but still, you get the point. It's like the Object 257 without that, a little bit bigger lower plate, but still really, really strong. So, I know I've rambled on a little bit, but I hope you get the main message of this video. Matchmaker is kind of screwed at the moment. I hope they do fix it, and I would love to hear you guys' opinion on Matchmaker, and I'll see you guys in the next video.